Hi there, Malcolm here with my 388th Booktube video, and today I'll be bringing you a book review for Dungeon Crawler Carl Book 5, The Butcher's Masquerade by Matt Dinnerman. I listened to this in Audible, and it was narrated to me by Jeff Hayes of Soundbooth Theatre. And in this one, the adventure largely takes place on floor 6 of the dungeon, and although it is similar in layout as floor 3, it felt very different. Not only that, the addition of the hunters, a hunter being a person of the general public of the galaxy having paid to come into the dungeon and hunt crawlers. So not only do the poor crawlers have the usual traps, monsters, quests and all the other craziness going on in the dungeon, but people from the outside have come in with all the high-tech gear to hunt them down. Certainly made it feel a lot different. It's a much larger book than the preceding ones, with an awful lot more going on in it. Now, first up, the negatives. Thankfully I can say there weren't many, but there were an awful lot of characters in this one. And as a series, I have been listening to it pretty much back to back, but at a point when somebody dies, it was a case of, oh no, who? And I actually had to look them up to find out who it was that died, and I felt that shouldn't have to be the case. It turned out the one that I didn't know hadn't really been in it much. They sort of briefly fought alongside Carl in a previous book and then joined to help out in this one. And even some of the better known characters who died, I wasn't entirely sure who they were, and so the impact wasn't necessarily as great as it could have been. And that was my only real negative, to be honest. This book had a lot of impact. And I mentioned in book 4, yes, it is still funny and zany and ridiculous, but there is a certain level of seriousness that has been creeping in. And one could argue that this seriousness has actually overtaken the zaniness. There are still laugh out loud moments, there's still a lot of fun in this book, but I'm getting more and more of the impression that Matt Dinnerman is an angry author. I'm currently reading Operation Bounce House, which really underlines this opinion. It's not just the deaths of Carl's friends and situations he's put in, but the weighty ramifications of what he's been forced to do, what he's been forced to become. And there's a really touching moment after a major thing that takes place where Princess Donut says to Carl in a worried way, "We've just lost friends. Why isn't it feeling as bad as it should?" And they're becoming desensitised to the violence, to the death, and their acknowledgement of this, it was quite heartbreaking. Yeah, there were a few moments that didn't just get me to the cusp of tears. I was crying. Whether I was driving, washing up, cooking, on a number of occasions I had tears streaming down my face. Something I wasn't quite expecting when I went in to read Dungeon Crawler Carl for the first time. There was an emotional weight in these books I certainly hadn't been prepared for. It's not just the deaths of various characters, like I say, it's the situations that these characters find themselves in and the things they're made to do. Really poignant, really powerful, and really brings the satire to this look at reality TV, at live game shows, as well as how corporations can treat people, whether it's media corporations or just plain business. The Butcher's Masquerade itself is a thing that happens towards the end of the book, where it's just this big gala event that takes place between the top 50 surviving crawlers and the surviving hunters. These crawlers and these hunters all go to the Queen's Castle for this masquerade, and it was quite a lengthy scene. It went over quite a few chapters. There was the build up towards it, what is it? I mean, we clearly know it's a trap somehow, but we don't quite know how. And the way that the event itself unfolds was excellently executed in that the tension was just piled on. The suspense grew more and more intense as time went on, as these interactions took place, leading up to the trigger event and then the fallout from that, which was pretty epic, but over quite quickly. And the scene itself took up a huge chunk of the story, I felt was brilliantly executed. Now, I complained about the fact that there are so many characters in this. However, we do focus on a few of the established ones that we already know, so Propotente and Miriam Dong, obviously Cartier, Carl's new ally Samantha, as well as the return of the elite character Signet from floor 3 to complete out her storyline. So it's great to see these characters again, it's great to see more about these characters, even though for some of them I ended up tearing up. Now, going in, I was a little bit daunted by the size of this book. Like I say, it's the longest one so far in the series. Having said that, the next one's even longer, and then book 7's even longer still. But at no point did I feel that extra length made it overstay its welcome. There was always new stuff to do, new things to discover, new threats to overcome, new enemies to defeat, existing storylines to tie up, new storylines to get going. At one point in the story, Carl describes, he's got so many plates spinning in the air, he's probably going to lose control or something like that. And the story itself feels like a whole bunch of plates spinning where some have come to their conclusion, new ones have been started up. Because not only is there all this stuff going on in the dungeon. There's the behind the scenes stuff. There's a political upheaval as to who actually gets to control the games. There's the AI, which is becoming increasingly unhinged. And amidst all this action, Carl is whisked out and sent off to judge a children's drawing contest at a dungeon crawler convention, just to add an extra level of surreality to his experiences. If you haven't tried Dungeon Crawler Carl yet, I highly recommend it. Do start from the beginning, but go in knowing this is a satirical, ironic take on a lot in our society. A lot of complaints I've seen in negative reviews are from people who it either didn't work with, which is absolutely fine, but for those who didn't get that this is a satire, this is a very social political dig at the status quo. So where it is misogynistic, it is deliberately so to call out the inherent misogyny in these type of games. Now, a lot of the complaints about the book haven't taken into account that the things that they're complaining about, the book's been written to directly address. Yeah, it's a fun, emotional, thrilling roller coaster. A lot of it is unpredictable, and certainly the epilogue threw out a couple of really interesting twists. One was, okay, I wasn't expecting that, and the other was a gut punch. And needless to say, booktastic. So, have you read the Dungeon Crawler Carl series? What did you think of it? Who's your favourite character after Princess Donut? I think Prepotente gets me the most laughs with these random screaming right in Carl's ear. Comment down below, please. But as usual, if you have nothing nice to say, then please keep it to yourself. Thank you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and other YouTube things. But if you want, until next time, see you later.